Hopefully that's good. I feel like whenever I begin a video, I can hear all my mouth sounds until I warm up a little, but that's okay. Just that. I was gonna begin talking, but this month, the winner of the poll it's kind of in question, to be honest. Pretty much like the entire first week of voting, there was a clear, strong lead for rating YouTubers' apology videos. The second place one was like right behind it, like frustratingly close behind it, like 4 votes, 3 votes behind constantly, but the other one was in the lead the whole time. In the past, there have been times when organically there was like a really close run in a poll, and then the way I handled it one time or like a couple times is I did like 2 videos, or I did like a split video where people got both topics, but then it was kind of double length. But then after that was like an established precedent, people started like forming voter blocks and then like kind of gamifying it, because Patreon lets you take away votes and add them to things and like move them around, which is also a feature I like in theory, because it means that if you vote for something really early on and come back and it's clearly just a race between 2 topics, then you can kind of like make your vote count better by moving it to one of the front runners where it's going to matter more. But anyway, because you can move votes around, people were able to like vote for the one that was like in the lead and then vote for the second place. And then when the second place pulled ahead, they would move their vote back from the second place to the first place. People even commented saying they were doing this, that like, oh, whenever that one takes the lead, I switch it back to the other one to make sure they always stay exactly tied. And some people, I think, were just doing it because they thought it was like funny. But then other people were like, now she has to do 2 topics. So that's why I stopped doing that. Anyway, I guess what I'm getting at is like maybe in the future, I actually need to set a deadline for poll cutoff times. I haven't wanted to do that in the past for a couple of reasons. It is a feature that Patreon offers. I've just never used it. I think I've just been on the internet too long, and whenever I think about any like logistical change, I immediately start thinking of how it will be exploited or make things more difficult. It's hard to explain, but the one that occurred to me is you could basically do like the poll version of sniping an auction. You either withhold your votes or you dump all your votes on a topic you don't actually care about and like coordinate with other people to do the same. Other people that have been voting normally think they're in the lead or are satisfied with what's in the lead, so they don't bother moving their vote around. And then a bunch of people come in 1 minute before the vote cutoff, and then they all stack their votes on a new candidate that no one had even seen. And then, I don't know, I just imagine ways people can exploit things. So I don't really want to add a poll deadline, but I guess what I'm trying to say is generally, when there's like a clear front runner for most of the time the poll is open and like things balance out and it looks like that's the leader, I usually start preparing with that in mind. I guess what I'm trying to explain is that I've had people say in the past that they're deliberately trying to like throw a wrench in the poll or result in like a weird winner that they don't even really want to see as a video, or make like a multi-way tie. And as I said, some people have literally said in the past that they just do it because they are curious what I'll do or they think it's funny. Obviously, it's hard to tell who is just being a bad actor with the polls and who is actually just voting honestly for what they want. I've thought a lot about the poll settings and ways to try to stop it from being manipulable to people and result in like a fair and good experience for everyone. I don't think Patreon has a feature that would let me hide the poll results from everyone, which would be one possible solution, but I also don't really want to hide the poll results from everyone because I like that people have the freedom to move their votes around because it's a multi-choice option. So if they have like one thing they really wanted to see, but they can see it has no chance of winning, that gives them the opportunity to move a vote over to one of the front runners so that they can basically have their vote counted toward one of the finalists. So I want people to see the ongoing results because then they have a better chance of like actually voting and making a difference on the ultimate winner. It's also possible on Patreon to force people to only pick one option, but that wasn't good before because the whole reason I introduced the multi-voting option was to try to prevent ties and the need for runoff tiebreaker polls, which is what I used to do. So yeah, I'm kind of, I don't know. I can't think of any other solutions. So I guess what it comes down to is when weird stuff like this happens with the poll, I'm just gonna have to make an executive decision when it comes time to record. And I hope that people are not upset about that. So yeah. All that to say, in case you didn't read the title of the post I'm going to attach this to, the winning topic this month is Jenny does script doctors on bad YouTuber apology videos and ranks them along the way. Another thing I might have to make a rule about is I do think it's constructive for people to argue in favor of the topics they want to win, but I think maybe sometimes people will like trash some of the options, and I want to remind people that these topics are user submitted, and so the person who submitted it is definitely going to be like looking at the poll and probably looking at the comments. So even if you don't vote for a topic, I feel like saying things that are negative about a specific topic is not constructive in the same way it is when you just plead the case of the one you actually want. And I don't want to turn off comments on the polls because, like I said, I think some comments are constructive, but I think others maybe aren't. Usually on here, we don't really have to do any moderation of comments because people are so chill. But I don't know. This is your warning, I guess. Keep it civil. Okay, so I made some notes. I feel like since I'm talking about YouTuber apologies, it can be a hot topic, not in like a popular way, but in like the sense of being like contentious or dangerous in some way. So I want to disclaim that in some cases I'm going to go in not knowing what the person is canceled for. And generally, I think it's funnier that way anyway, to go in cold. I'll get into that in a second. But anyway, I'm going to be watching a lot of these without context, without knowing if any excuses these people are making are legitimate. It's going to largely be vibes check based, which seems fair if you're judging an apology video, because an apology video is basically trying to cash in on like a vibe check, and then often it doesn't succeed. But if you hear me arrive at the wrong conclusion about how someone comes across, whether they're trustworthy or give good vibes or not, or if I guess wrong or mis-summarize what the drama is, I'm just disclaiming that that's probably going to happen and that I'm not pretending to be an authority on any of this drama. And it's all just supposed to be a fun time. Next disclaimer is obviously if I'm going to try to script doctor these apology videos, I'm essentially going to sound like I'm the defense lawyer of these YouTubers. And I feel like that alone seems kind of morally bankrupt because a lot of them are probably guilty of doing bad things and don't deserve my assistance in digging themselves out of trouble. But I don't want to add those qualifiers to every apology video. So for the sake of engaging in an interesting way with the topic, we're all just going to play pretend that I work for these YouTubers. I'm like their, I was going to say publicist. I'm kind of like their LeFou. You know, I'm like their henchman. And no matter what they've done, I want them to succeed, and I'm going to give them good advice to fix their apology videos or salvage their careers, no matter what they've done. And we're going to find out. Okay, next, I took a couple notes on evaluation criteria. I think it's important to note the title of the apology video, which in some cases that might not be accessible to me because for whatever reason, a lot of apology videos seem to be re-uploads from other people, which is kind of a clue to me as to how successful they were, how well they were received. But when there are titles, it's fun to see what strategy people pick. I think honestly, if you're going to do an apology video, you should just be like addressing blank and just be very upfront, or even just be like apology video, an apology, etc. But the more common tropes are obviously like a one-word title, a vague title, a title ending on an ellipse. My favorite is when they have an all lowercase title, when that's stylistically not how they usually title their videos. I think it's meant to communicate some kind of like off tone. It's trying to convey that they're in some way more authentic or feeling down, but in itself it's kind of a performance because they're trying to perform that they're that. Okay, the next thing that's fun to notice is the staging. Do they film the video where they film most of their content, or do they not? And if not, how do you believe they chose that setting out of all the places in their house, or are they in their car maybe? I feel like some people have done that, presumably out of like shame of being overheard or to look more lo-fi, unproduced, I guess. That's a common strategy. The next thing I want to examine is this actually an apology video or is it a defense video? Because in my experience, usually apology videos are actually the latter. They'll say like addressing things and they'll kind of like be contrite, but then even though they're being contrite, they'll be like, also, I didn't even do that stuff. And it's like, I do still think that counts as an apology video, but it is just interesting how many of them are more just like a not my fault video. And then the final point is, does the video explain what they were canceled for? As I said, for the ones that were submitted by the person who submitted the topic, I didn't recognize most of them. I skimmed the thumbnails. Most of them were totally unfamiliar to me. So I think that's kind of funny because in my opinion, in a real apology video, someone should be able to watch it and immediately know what they're being canceled for, because I think part of taking accountability for something should entail, frankly, owning up to what it is. And I'm going to guess almost none of them will actually do that, but I'm ready to be pleasantly surprised. I also just think it's really funny watching a vaguely worded apology video and they're just kind of alluding to things that sound really bad and you're just like, oh, this isn't helping your case. I didn't even know about this, but now it seems pretty bad. Okay, and next I made a list of things I will not judge based on. These are what I consider kind of common misconceptions about apology videos. The first one is I see a lot of people, especially like young people, get really cynical about apology videos where you can tell that the person is reading from a script or notes, and I think that's kind of asinine. I think it's important to note that like someone doesn't have to be improvising for the words that they're saying to be sincerely meant. I also think it's actually often more responsible for the person to sit down and like really think about what they want to say and how they want to say it, because that shows that they're taking something seriously. And I think if someone did something bad and they actually were sorry, of course they would want to express themselves correctly when they're apologizing. And obviously it's true that like sometimes when someone is reading the script, it signals that that apology has been written by like a PR firm, but that's the vast minority of cases. I think a lot of people overestimate how many YouTubers actually have publicists, let alone actually listen to publicists, because YouTube is such like a personal platform. You're not really running things by a studio. You know, even in the cases where people have like employees that are supposed to be helping them with these things, they're just going to go ahead and emotionally post anyway. I mean, that's what half of influencers are doing on Twitter constantly, is just like misguided emotional tweets. I'm not exempting myself from that. So anyway, I think I've seen maybe like 3 YouTuber apology videos ever that I thought, yeah, this was probably written by a publicist. Oh my God, I was going to wear my Pixar alien hat because the topic is apology videos, but then I dressed for Valentine's Day instead. And I do really like the bear hat, and I did pink eyeshadow and stuff. So I'm gonna keep with the pink and red, but oh my God, I totally meant to wear the Pixar alien hat. So reading a script means nothing to me. I don't care if people are reading a script. I wouldn't even care if they were holding a sheet of paper and reading it off of that. I think it's fine. In fact, if we're being honest, I think in real life, if people had to resolve conflicts in like in-person relationships, I think if they both wrote down what they wanted to say and came in with it, that would actually help people to not escalate things as badly. Obviously, no one really does that, but I think it's a decent strategy. Okay, there's only one other thing on my list of things I will not judge based on, and it is displays of emotion. I see a lot of people say that that's manipulative if you're doing an apology video and you start crying. I feel like the exception is like, if you're sitting down to record the apology video and you start crying before you've even said the first word, that's like fully in your control, and you could just make the conscious choice to cut the camera and start over after you've like composed yourself a little. So if it begins already crying, that sends the message that you made a deliberate choice of like, I want to be crying for this video. And then the other obvious element of that is like, if people are doing crocodile tears and it is fake, then if you're not a professional actor and you need to be crying for something, it's way easier to like start crying off camera and kind of work your way up to it at your leisure. You can even like splash water on yourself or whatever. And I think you have to be a little more skilled at acting to actually like get yourself to organically start crying while you're in the middle of talking. But anyway, I just think it's hypocritical that like the same people who are mad about someone using a script because it's inauthentic will then get mad about displays of emotion. It's like, do you want this to come from the heart or not? And similarly, when people are like, there are too many cuts in it, like they want it to all be one take or something, I just feel like that's not reasonable. Also, for the record, I think that most people who cry in apology videos are actually crying. Like, I'm not the crying police. I will say that somebody crying doesn't always mean they're innocent. Obviously, they might not be crying because of how sorry they are, but because of how upset they are to see their career fall apart. So they can be selfish tears, like feeling sorry for yourself is still something that can make you cry and you're still not fake crying. Obviously, if you're doing an apology, it is lousy if you're crying only for yourself. So like definitely the crying can be selfishly motivated, but that still doesn't mean it's fake. And just in general, I do think it's kind of a dark path to go down to always be assuming that people cry to manipulate you. I think that's kind of a slippery slope toward people demonizing like everyone in their life. So, okay, so I feel obligated to first watch probably the most, well, no, never mind. Probably the second most famous YouTuber apology video, because this is one of the most famous YouTuber scandals. So this is obviously Logan Paul. His video is titled, "So Sorry, Period." And in this case, I am obviously familiar with what he did. Most people are. There's a forest in Japan where a lot of people infamously go to take their own lives off the path. So he kind of hyped it up in a vlog that he was going to go there. And I think the implication was just that it's spooky and maybe like haunted. He just went to like vlog going through the forest, and then they did come across a fresh body, and he filmed it, and then he edited his whole vlog and chose to keep it in and then uploaded it. At no point did it occur to him that he shouldn't be doing that. So it was huge news, and this is his apology.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and I don't expect to be forgiven. I'm simply here to apologize.
Okay, it's already a very strong start, in my opinion. This is one video I do think was written by a PR firm. I just don't... Maybe this is unfair. I'm skeptical that Logan Paul is this well-spoken, because I do think this is very well phrased. It's concise. That first sentence was already really good. A lot of high-impact words. There's enough self-condemnation in there. And I've seen a lot of people repeat, almost like a meme, the phrase severe and continuous lapse in judgment, because that really does sum it up. I do think it's kind of a hollow expression, because when you watch the overall Japan vlog that contained this controversial moment, he was acting very disrespectful and disruptive to everyone, not in just like a fun class clown way, but like destroying other people's property. He also has a long history of like terrorizing animals. I think there was one shot that made me really angry where he went to a koi pond and he like picked up the koi. Do you know what I would do if I had a koi and Logan Paul picked up my koi? I couldn't even say what I would do without getting this entire video stricken from the platform.
So what we came across that day in the woods was obviously unplanned, and the reactions you saw on tape were raw, they were unfiltered. None of us knew how to react or how to feel.
Again, in the video in question, it wasn't so much their real-time reactions as much as the decision to edit and post the video. So
I should have never posted the video.
Yeah.
I should have put the cameras down and stopped recording what we were going through. There's a lot of things I should have done differently, but I didn't. And for that, from the bottom of my heart, I am sorry. For my fans who are defending my actions, please don't. They do not deserve to be defended. I don't expect to be forgiven. I'm just here to apologize. I'm ashamed of myself.
One thing I like about this video is it is concise. I also think this is a rare situation where he did actually have to post an apology video. You'll see as I go on, but generally my critique is that posting the video at all is a bad idea. In this case, it was like extremely huge news, and he really had to post this to try to salvage his career and probably to keep his channel monetized at any point in the future. I think that if the forest video had been his first offense in an otherwise fairly normal vlogging career, I think that this is well written. It's well delivered. It does look like he's trying to look a little teary-eyed, which maybe that's authentic, we don't know, but it doesn't seem like he's trying to make people feel bad for him. I do think this is a great apology video. However, I think what makes it fall flat for me is that his entire career is like only offenses. It's not his first offense. It's just every video is an offense. So it just feels a little clownish to me to make a lot of content that's like entirely centered on like tormenting people and animals and annoying people, acting recklessly and like bombastically, and then to come forward and suddenly be like, I'm so ashamed of what I did. It's like, but that's all you do, you know? It's like an entire career of only misses. In isolation, I think it's a great apology video. And like I said, it's short, which I think is good. He did fail the metric kind of saying what happened. I think I'd be pretty confused if I didn't know what the scandal was. He did allude to it in like intriguing ways. So I think if I was watching this blind, I would think, okay, something happened in a forest that he shouldn't have shown. And he also apologized to the victim and his family. I think actually, if I hadn't known what happened, I would think he had murdered someone in the woods and posted a vlog of it. So what he did was also really bad, but I guess at least he didn't do that. Assuming the context of everyone knowing what he did, it's a good apology. But assuming everyone had a bit of additional context of who he is, it's not a good apology. I think that's the problem. I think Logan Paul has just shown like a disregard for other people so many times that I don't think even the most perfect apology could help, because it'll just never seem sincere coming from him. I think no matter how long he lives, there's nothing he can really do to change that. I mean, well, I don't know. Maybe if he lives to be 80 years old and he stops being annoying like this year, then maybe. I don't know. But I don't know. I feel like I never hear anything good about him. So I pulled this video up, but I don't even think I'm going to play much of it. But it feels literally necessary to talk about it. This is the video, hi, period, all lowercase. So it's kind of hitting all the cliches of a apology video. So this is from Miranda Sings, and her real name is Colleen. I don't think it's even really worth taking clips from this video because it was so viral that not only is everyone pretty much aware of it, but also I think everyone has already seen at least 10 people critique it and make jokes about it. So I almost don't think there's very much left to say about it. But anyway, when I said that Logan Paul's video was probably now the second most famous apology video, it's because this has dethroned it fairly recently. So this apology was made for grooming allegations. And even though I don't want to watch the whole thing now because it's 10 minutes long and it has other unique qualities about it, I do remember distinctly that she does at least say what she's in trouble for, but this is one of those videos I was talking about where it's not an apology video and it's actually a denial video. So first I have to address the elephant in the room, that this is a singing apology. She gets out a ukulele and she performs an apology. We'll watch a little bit of it.
I've been wanting to come online and talk to you about a few things. Even though my team has strongly advised me to not say what I want to say, I recently realized that they never said that I couldn't sing what I want to say.
It's so silly. It's so performy, too. I think one thing I have to point out is that she uploaded this to her vlog channel and not the Miranda Sings channel. This channel also has a lot of subscribers. It has 3.15 million subscribers. However, I think if you're actually trying to, like, apologize for something, it does feel like kind of a cheap move to put it on a second channel where it's sort of hidden. But I also kind of get it because, like, I don't know. I was going to say I get it because if you're ever trying to move on from this scandal at any point in the future, you don't want this like weird mood killer video where you're apologizing for something forever linked to your like public brand. However, that's the reason I think people just shouldn't do apology videos anyway. The staging is interesting. You're going to be shocked, but I don't watch Miranda Sings. I'm aware of like what it's like, which is why I don't watch it. But anyway, not being well versed in Miranda Sings, I don't know if this is like a location where other Miranda Sings videos are shot. Although it's on the vlog channel and it appears to be her house, so I assume she's at least vlogged from there before. And I think this is a fine, neutral setting for a ukulele song that's 10 minutes in length. It also kind of looks to me like she's done like a natural makeup look. I guess I haven't seen how she normally does her makeup when she's not Miranda Sings, which is obviously like exaggerated clown makeup. And you can see she is wearing makeup, but it's like very understated. Like she's just kind of tight lined her eyes. And I think she's wearing like foundation and she's done her lip. I don't know if it's how she has styled herself or if it's the makeup, like maybe not enough blush or whatever. I do think she looks fragile physically fragile in this video. You know, there's not a lot of color to her, and it makes her look more vulnerable, which I guess is a decent strategy.
In all seriousness, I do think it's really important to hold people accountable for their mistakes.
It really can't be overstated how crazy of a choice this was to do the ukulele song, especially because like there are a lot of moments in the middle where she's just strumming and talking. It didn't have to be a song. There's also a lot of like sassiness in the song, and as I said, this is a denial song, not really an apology.
I know you wanted me to say that I was 100% in the wrong. Well, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna take that route of admitting to lies and rumors that you made up for clout.
See, it's very sassy. But then I would say, if you're not gonna apologize, like if your response is none of it's true, if I were her publicist and pretending that she listens to me, I would just be like, don't post this. And she'd be like, you didn't say I can't sing. And I'd be like, no, don't sing this. Don't sing this or post this. Actually, saying don't post this also means you can't sing it. So I already covered my bases. I don't believe she would listen to me. I think this video communicates a person who's not going to listen to anyone. And that's fine. Like, it's her career. So it is what it is. Yeah, I would say this is the worst apology video of all time, because she also, like, not only does it not help her career, what she's saying, but I think a bigger element is that it's the fact that she chose to sing it resulted in it going so viral that it just blew up what she was in trouble for even more. It did the Streisand effect. And granted, this was like a scandal that was already being covered by like mainstream media and stuff. So it was already pretty big. Like, I don't think she could have really swept it under the rug anyway. However, if I were advising her, I do speculate that if she had just continued posting like nothing happened, it wouldn't have been nearly as bad for her. I think she would have gotten a lot of comments like, so are you not going to talk about the allegations? And like, she probably would have lost sponsors. I don't think her views would have significantly gone down, at least in the short term. I think a lot of people would have been morbidly curious and more likely to watch it just in case she talks about what's going on. So I think she would either get the same kind of views she always had or even higher views. I think the only solution here would have been for her to just post her way through it. I mean, obviously what she gave us instead was much funnier, and also much worse for her. So this is a bad apology video, in case you couldn't tell that was my point. This is a bad one. Okay, I felt like I had to talk about those two, but I'm really glad I was sent a playlist because I'm not that well versed in that many apology videos, probably because I watch like mostly video essayists and stuff like that, and so they're not often apologizing. It seems like most of the real drama happens when you watch like vloggers or, I don't know, prank channels, whatever like normal YouTube is. The most general population YouTube content. I think that's where you get the biggest scandals. Also, makeup YouTube has a lot of scandals. I was trying to decide if I should talk about any of those apology videos, but I just didn't know how to narrow it down. This video is called Travis Scott Full Apology. So I know this is probably about the crowd crush that happened at one of his concerts. Several people died and a lot of people were like injured. Crowd crushes are super dangerous. I believe he was like implicated in it because he had kind of encouraged fans to like not listen to venue security, which kind of led to an environment that got out of control. And then I think he also like didn't stop the show when it started happening, but I can also imagine how you would just not be aware that something like that is happening.
I just want to send out prayers to the ones that was lost last night. We're actually working right now to identify the families so we can help assist them through this tough time.
There are a few issues with this already. It keeps kind of clipping, like it's broken into segments, so I'm assuming this was posted to like a Snapchat story or like Instagram, or the staging is already off. I feel like choosing to make the video black and white is kind of an almost, I don't know, there's kind of an insincere quality to making it black and white, because it almost seems like, it feels like someone with kind of like low emotional intelligence being like, in movies when things are in black and white, it means something sad is happening. So I'll do that. So it feels a little hammy, I guess. I don't know how he normally posts on social media, so I'm kind of ambivalent on the weirdest part about this, which is that it's shot at this like weird low angle, extremely close to his face, and he's like constantly weaving back and forth. Maybe that's how he posts like everything he has to say, and so maybe if I was like a fan of him, I would recognize that that is him at his most sincere. I will say there's something that's like really insincere to me. I'm gonna play it on mute for a second. So there's so much touching of his face and like covering of his eyes and like rubbing of his eyes. Obviously, some people do that when they're stressed or emotional. They will like clutch at their face. They'll cover their mouth or like rub at their eyes. But the fact that it's happening so constantly, I feel like another time when you see people do that much face touching is often when they know that for optics reasons they should be crying or emotional, and they can't like muster up that energy. So like you'll see it in not even just like people that are lying. You'll see it in like movies and TV shows with low budgets or like student films and stuff. A lot of people, when their character is supposed to be crying or emotional, they'll just kind of like go, ah, like they'll just kind of gasp or like sigh and slap their hand over their eyes, because then it's kind of like, I might be crying under here. You don't know. People can't police whether they think you're actually like sad or remorseful. And I feel like that is just kind of what his body language is giving. The fact that he's closing his eyes a lot, it's almost like he's really hoping he'll start to tear up if he blinks and closes his eyes often enough, and then the constant covering of his face is going to pick up the slack a little. As far as the content of the apology, he said that he didn't realize that an emergency was happening. I do remember when this happened, a lot of people were posting kind of damning videos about like people yelling to like stop the show from the audience, which obviously was like easy to hear from the audience, and, you know, a visible ambulance trying to fight through the crowd. I don't know. I'm kind of two minds on it, because obviously, if you're like on stage at a concert, you can't really hear anything. That's why they all wear like the earpieces that will like help them hear their own voices and like the backing track and stuff. I could imagine him just being in like a one-track mind and not really knowing what was going on. Obviously, like he was still kind of responsible for making the venue safe, and so was his like management team.
Everybody continue to just keep your prayers. I mean, I'm honestly just devastated, and I could never imagine anything like this just happening.
Yeah, I do think it's just weird to be like, I'm devastated, while you're just like expressionless. And again, when he said he was devastated, there was more face covering. So it's very much like, I don't know, he's trying to look sad, but he's not that invested in trying to look sad. I think I would put this on like a C tier apology. I haven't been rating any of these apologies. I would give the Logan Paul apology, I think I would put it on S tier for how it was written, as just an apology. I would give that S tier. The Miranda Sings one, I'm going to give that an F. That is, you know, the worst you could do. It's the guaranteed way to make everything worse for yourself, in such a way that it became like kind of its own internet event that everyone's going to like meme on forever. This one, I'm just giving it a C. He didn't really seem sad at all. He kind of, if anything, just seemed like he had recently gotten out of bed. But I think because of like the magnitude of what he's apologizing for, I think the apology video almost doesn't matter. I think what matters more is like, you know, did he follow through with like helping the families of the victims, and like was there an internal investigation into like what went wrong at the venue and like steps taken to prevent it? And that's not anything that could be proven in an apology video anyway. Another reason I think apology videos are kind of useless. Okay, I'm really excited for this one because I don't know who this is, and I've never seen this video before. So I'm excited to go in blind. This is what I've been waiting for. The YouTuber is named TmarTn. Oh, it's probably pronounced just like Martin or something. His name's probably Martin, and then that's like his screen name. Maybe it's pronounced TmarTn. TmarTn and Syndicate CSGO Lotto Scam. Oh, so he's probably a Twitch streamer. I know CSGO. I want to say it's like a racing game. And then I think you buy like blind boxes to get upgrades to like your vehicle or your character or something. Yeah, I think I watched an interesting video about this whole era of like gaming, but I do know that a lot of like gaming YouTubers and like Twitch streamers did take advantage of their fans by like flipping things that were won in lotteries and like, I don't know. So I'm interested to hear what's going on here.
Cooper, I have no idea how I'm gonna record this video, dude.
But okay, that was already such a manipulative cold open to start with your like adorable doggy and be like, here's my really cute dog. I left this in for no clear reason. Already kind of manipulative. He's also doing the hallmark of apology videos where you do like a long sigh or deep breath to start to show that you're serious. You're here to talk about something serious. Kind of unnecessary, but I feel neutral about it. Let's see what he says for the rest of it.
All right, guys. So
I also just noticed. I think this painting over here is like kind of a bachelor pad. Like it's artistic, so it's like tasteful. But I think it is like a rear view of a woman who's like, she's probably topless, but it's very low res. And like I said, it's the back of her, so no actual nudity. But I think it's a naked woman peeling off like a thong. So I probably, if I was framing the video for an apology video about anything serious, I probably would have cropped out that part of the room or like swiveled the camera a little to frame it out. But if it's just part of his, I'm assuming office, because this doesn't look like a house, then maybe he's just so used to it he didn't think about it. But it is like, your eye goes right to it because it is the only art that's on the walls of this otherwise really empty and industrial looking space. And then also, I don't know, the framing is weird because my eye is just going right to this art and then right to this either truck or SUV outside. I think it's like a Ford truck or something. It's almost like symmetrical. You've got him perfectly centered and then his like sexual art and then his car or someone's car, we don't know.
I'm gonna try to make this as short and sweet as possible. I don't want to take up too much of your time.
I like that.
But first and foremost, I do want to say that I love you guys. You guys seriously mean the world to me. You have for the past 6 years that I've been on YouTube, and you honestly have changed my life. Like every single day I get to wake up and chase my dreams and follow my passions, and that's all been made possible by you guys.
Okay, so first of all, I don't know what he usually talks like, but he's doing something I believe is probably pretty common among like gamer content creators. I call it Nickelodeon host voice. I find a lot of people even if they're making content that's like really mature, like maybe they have like more sexual content or like violence or they're using slurs or whatever. So many game streamers will do the Nickelodeon host voice, which is basically like Steve from Blue's Clues, where you get in front of the camera and you're like, "Hi guys, have you seen Blue, my puppy?" And they're just doing that like all the time. And there's such like kind of an insincerity to it. So it's also very like upbeat. So it's already a weird way to approach an apology video. And I'm in suspense to find out what he did. I feel like this is a bold start to just kind of say basically nothing. It's very empty so far.
My connection to CSGO Lotto has been a matter of public record since the company was first organized in December of 2015. However, I do feel like I owe you guys an apology. I'm sorry.
Okay, now this actually reminds me of like when pharmaceutical companies get in legal trouble. Like they have to recall a product or there's a warning that they didn't issue or they've done false advertising previously. I swear I've literally seen television commercials where it's shot like a normal pharmaceutical ad, which I guess you'll only know what that looks like if you're American because I think other countries don't really have those. But it'll be an upbeat ad with kind of light, inspiring music and like footage of friendly women walking through the park in like a baseball cap and yoga pants with their like beautiful dog, and then people at an outdoor barbecue like laughing, just like happy stock footage. And then there will be like a friendly announcer voice. But then with the ones where they've been like slapped on the wrist, you get these same videos where they're like all happy looking, but then the announcer will be like, "The federal government has ruled that we have to inform you that this drug can actually cause brain damage." And you're like, oh my God, that's what this is kind of giving me. I feel like he's talking in like an infomercial voice, and he's basically being like, I have always disclosed my connection to this company that runs lottery scams, which is what it sounds like it's going to be.
Who felt like that was not made clear enough to you. And I truly, honestly hope that you guys give me an opportunity to earn your trust back. Please also know that I am committed to making sure that my YouTube channel, as well as all of my other businesses, are in compliance with the law. This is why I do not condone minors under the age of 18 to use CSGO Lotto. This is and always has been a clearly stated policy available both in the terms of service as well as the initial sign-up page on the website. I've seen a lot of people focusing on the under the age of 13 section of our privacy policy. All this section states is that we do not knowingly record information of children under the age of 13 years old in compliance with the COPPA Act. This has nothing to do with and does not mean that we condone minors under the age of 18 to play on the site.
I mean, is the gambling the only thing happening on the website? Because it is true that, like, why would you have that disclaimer on your website if the only thing happening there is something that 13-year-olds are not allowed to participate in? So that already is kind of fishy, but I could also imagine that just being an oversight where, like, the lawyers who wrote all of the disclaimers are used to including stuff like that and didn't realize that the site didn't allow 13-year-olds. I don't know. But then also, like, are they verifying that people are 18, or do they just tell them twice that they have to be 18? Seems like usually on the internet it's the latter, which is bad if it's like unregulated gambling.
Thank you guys so much for all the support over the years, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. So thank you guys for watching. I truly do appreciate it. I look forward to getting back to my regularly scheduled content, and I hope to see you guys there.
This sounds less like an apology to his community and more like a lawyer advised him that he needed to better disclose a sponsorship or like a business affiliation with a website he was promoting. So I guess with that in mind, I would give this like a B. I also, maybe it's unfair, I'm going to speculate that his audience is so young that they will unconditionally forgive him for anything anyway. And probably the people mad at him are adults that are concerned for his child fans, just based on the nature of the things he was denying. He almost can't do any harm, no matter the quality of the apology video. Actually, maybe I'll knock him down to C, because the framing with the dog was really weird. I feel like that already set him off on the wrong foot, to me at least. No, I'll give him B. I'll be generous, I'll give him B. He did pretty concisely just be like, I'm in trouble for doing this. And just to be clear, I am affiliated with this company, and we do not let minors gamble. I don't know if I believe him, but at least it was short and he said what he needed to say. And at least I was able to glean from this video that what had happened. So I think I would bump it up to that for that reason. Because even Travis Scott, like, he didn't actually say exactly what he was apologizing for. And this one, I figured it out going in cold. So I think that's worthy of at least a B. Okay, this one is titled... It's from a channel called NicsterV. I've never heard of it. And it's called Dear Flamingo, I'm sorry, ... And then in parentheses, Roblox. So whatever happened, it happened in Roblox. So let's hear him out.
Today I thought a real flamingo was playing with me on Roblox, but as it turns out, after I uploaded this video, it was revealed to me as a prank by my friend Lox. I had no idea. If I look at the footage right here, his name is Mr. Flimflim, and he made his name Mr. Flimflim on purpose. My friend Lox did, to see if I would notice this, and I had no idea. Flamingo ended up seeing this video, and although I had no idea it was a fake
Flamingo must be another Roblox YouTuber. I thought he had done a clickbait video where he said that someone he was playing with online was a bird. He's like, they gave a bird a controller. And so maybe he was like, he got caught catfishing his fans. So is this a thing where he like lied about gaming with another YouTuber for clout? And he hadn't actually, he had just gotten a friend to make an account with a deceptively similar looking name? Because that's how it sounds. But let's hear the rest.
Flamingo, he made a tweet about it, and I
I wasn't actually in this vid, by the way. He's just using me for views. It's weird, lol. I only collab with my friends. IDK this guy like that.
I am so sorry. This was a complete misunderstanding. The person who pranked me, I'm going to call him up right now, and then I'm going to show you guys the footage of where he revealed to me it was a prank after we recorded this video. But
okay, he's definitely lying, but I do think it's funny that he's gonna cut away to a second party. I'm very excited for that.
before Flamingo made a tweet about me. Lox, you are guilty of pretending to be Flamingo. Do you admit it?
Of course, yeah, dude. That was the point of the video. I literally wanted to prank you, and it worked.
I'm kind of in trouble right now. It's your fault, not mine, dude.
100% it was my fault. You shouldn't be thrown under the bus for this.
The next time I get in trouble for something online, I'm going to call up one of my friends who like isn't online and just like has no online presence. And then I will prompt them as though they're at gunpoint. I'll be like, hey, all those things people think I did were actually you, right? Right? You did that. And then they'll go, yeah, I did. It was all me. And I'll be like, tell everyone how it was you and it wasn't me. And they'll be like, yeah, man, it was me. I did that. I thought it would be funny. And then no one can get mad at me ever again.
Server, I'm the one who trolled you. I'm the one who used the nickname plugin.
Flamingo, I'm so sorry. This is Lox's fault, not my fault. I had no idea. I'm gonna show you guys the footage of where he revealed to me it was a prank, just to prove to you guys that this actually happened. Like this video right now if you agree this was all Lox's fault, and if you forgive me. Also check...
I love the call to action. I don't think I've ever seen an apology video say, like this video if you forgive me. So that's good.
Look on Discord. I don't have Flamingo on Discord. What is going on? Wait, why is my friend Lox calling me? Yo, what's up? I'm doing a video right now.
Yo, dude.
Yeah, what's up?
What are you doing right now?
I'm playing with Flamingo. I'm doing an obby with him.
Really? Flamingo?
Yeah.
Like
He just won.
What's his Roblox name again?
Mr. Flim Flam? Wait, this is Flim Flim.
Dude, I'm the one who told you to go on this server. Dude, you really thought Flamingo would be on my server?
Are you pretending to be
When he puts it that way, it is kind of hard to believe he would fall for it. That's interesting.
him?
Look at chat.
This was not my fault, but still, I'm very, very sorry. Subscribe for...
Okay, even like the angry reaction. It's interesting that he found out like in the same gaming session that it was a prank and then seemingly uploaded a video not saying it was a prank. Despite their really good acting, I do feel like both people were lying and this was a fake prank. But I don't even know if I can judge this as an apology video because I kind of roll this under the category of all obviously fake YouTube pranks, which is a huge genre. I do hate videos like that because it reminds me of how gullible so many people are, and also that there's like really low effort content that a lot of people watch, and then that's kind of depressing to think about, that you're just like, oh, this content is horrible. What is it doing to like the brains of the, you know, the developing minds that are watching it? Do I think this is a good apology video? I don't even know how to approach it in that way. I guess it is, because he did explain exactly what happened. He gave a sincere apology, which surely he meant. And bonus points, he even brought someone else on to confess to his crimes for him. So in that way, I kind of can't think of a better apology video. I guess I'd give this one an A. Okay, this is from a channel called N&A Productions, and it's a re-upload. And also the title suggests that it's probably not going to be a very good apology. I'm not familiar with this channel, so I'm excited to see what he did wrong.
Guys, before this video starts, all the ads money from this video will go to suicide prevention. The link is on the description,
no.
alright guys?
That's a really ominous start, I have to say.
And it goes to Etika, alright guys? So all the ads money. So guys, I have a lot of things to say, and this video is gonna be unedited, alright guys? So I'm getting so much hate this past 2 days for making a 3 AM video on Etika. That's what everybody thinks. Everybody thinks I made a 3 AM video on Etika, but I didn't even...
Oh no! It's a good sign of like how online I am that I know exactly what he means by a 3 AM video. Okay, Etika is a YouTuber who years ago took his own life. And it was really sad. He was dealing with a lot of like mental health issues. I think people kind of knew that stuff was going on with him, but he wasn't able to get help in time. And so it was really sad. So that's the context for Etika that he keeps mentioning the name of. 3 a.m. videos. He's talking about doing a 3 a.m. video about Etika. There is a phenomenon called the 3 a.m. video. So basically, little kids love horror content. They love creepypasta content. I think there's a certain age, probably between like 8 and 11, where kids finally become brave enough that they can handle ghost stories, but they're still really frightened by them. So they're still like, it's kind of peak exhilaration time for hearing horror stories. And they don't even have to be that well written because you're a kid. So there's a huge industry of videos where people will go out and film staged vlogs where scary things happen. And it uses a lot of concepts that kids are intrigued by. Once upon a time, it was Slender Man. Now kids like other creepypasta characters like Sonic.exe. Another popular one is like kid-friendly characters that have been corrupted in some way. So evil Mickey Mouse, scary Ronald McDonald, evil Grimace, a lot of stuff like that. Fast food mascots are really popular because they're very present in children's world. In a previous Patreon video, I've talked a little bit about a channel like this called Jaystation, whose content I thought was really funny. Not intentionally so, but just a really fun watch. And I think he's done so many things wrong. I think his channel doesn't even exist anymore. So I'm not familiar with this specific guy, but I can already tell by the cadence of his voice that he's a Jaystation knockoff channel. These channels, they're always trying to hype up their young audience. So they're always kind of like shouting in an unbroken cadence at the screen. They're always like, oh my God, guys, I drove to Wendy's and I'm so scared because I saw something in the window and I think it might be the evil Wendy's mascot. Oh my God, you guys, do you think I should go there? Do you think I should check it out? I don't know what to do. Comment below, guys. What do I do? It very much seems like they're afraid that if they stop talking for even like 2 seconds, the kids will just click off and become bored. Just complete sensory overload in the line delivery. And also a really funny cadence to deliver an apology video. So anyway, one of the meta concepts within this canon of children's horror videos is 3 a.m. And this isn't like a new concept, but I would say it's a newly popular concept. I remember when I was a kid reading ghost stories, at some point learning that 3 a.m. is meant to be like the witching hour, or I guess midnight's like the witching hour, I think. But 3 a.m. is supposed to be like the devil's hour. It's like the time when demonic things happen. I think people probably consider it that because it's kind of, it's like a decent midpoint between when other people might conceivably be awake and up and about. Because if you're a kid, like adults might be up till like midnight. So midnight isn't that scary because there's still enough like activity. And then if you get much past 3 a.m., the sun is like gonna come up fairly soon. So then that becomes less scary as well. But 3 a.m. is kind of like in the heart of like the loneliest, darkest part of the night. So I think that's kind of probably the origin of 3 a.m. being such a spooky time. I would attribute the rise of its popularity among children to the fact that most kids have never stayed up till 3 in the morning. So that kind of adds to the mystique. Like even young kids, they probably have on occasion been up till midnight, but never 3 a.m. 3 a.m. would only be a time of fear for them because they would only see it if they had woken up in the middle of the night from a nightmare. And I would imagine this was probably initially popularized by people setting creepypastas at 3 a.m. and stuff. But once YouTubers started using it, kids became obsessed with the idea of 3 a.m. So whenever you see like a clickbait horror kids video, it can be titled something like, going to McDonald's at 3 a.m., scary, not clickbait, gone wrong, or like, fighting evil Sonic.exe at 3 a.m. So it's like you can just take whatever your concept already was and then just say it's 3 a.m. and kids will immediately be like, 3 a.m.? That sounds pretty scary. And it is. He is now saying he's been accused of making an Etika 3 a.m. video. So to me, that suggests that this man has made a video, a horror video for kids where he probably ran around like a fool, pretending he was being chased by the ghost of a YouTuber that tragically died by suicide. So, that's pretty bad. He also, I think he's about to tell us it was all a misunderstanding, so I'm excited to hear how that could possibly be.
But I didn't even make it 3 a.m. on Etika, alright guys? The video I uploaded, the title was just FaceTiming Etika. I didn't actually FaceTime Etika. I just titled the video FaceTiming Etika so you guys will actually watch it, alright guys? And I wanted people to actually donate to Etika. I wanted to raise money for Etika and his parents. I even put the link on the description on that video. But once I dropped the video, it got so much hate that I couldn't handle it. So I privated the video. And even on the beginning of the video, I said that I'm not going to FaceTime Etika, alright?
This is already really good. He must be so stupid. He must be so stupid. He's denying doing one bad thing, but his excuse is that he was doing like a different parallel bad thing that was equally bad. He's like, no, I didn't actually make content where I was being chased by the ghost of a dead YouTuber. I just put a clickbait title that that's what was going to happen to make you watch my video, and then that's not what happened in the video at all. And it's like, that's bad for the same reason. Whether you make the video or not, the title shows the intent to do clickbait on the death of a YouTuber. You've already done the crime, you just did it differently than it first appeared. He hasn't made any effort to be like, I realized what I did was wrong, and so I took the video down. He's already been like, a lot of you guys got really mad at me, so I set it to private. It's like, so he doesn't even feel bad. He's just like, he's upset that he's getting yelled at.
There was this guy who was texting me non-stop saying, I'm Etika, FaceTime me, alright guys? And I just told him, stop pretending that you're Etika. I just told him this. I didn't say I'm going to FaceTime Etika. I FaceTimed that number who was pretending to be Etika. Like everyone is saying, oh, you FaceTime Etika at 3 a.m. The title and thumbnail was just that, alright guys? Nothing else happened in the video. I didn't actually like FaceTime Etika. On the beginning of the video, I even said that, like, rest in peace Etika. Like, how can I even FaceTime Etika, alright guys? This is like insane. Nobody watched it fully, alright guys? They just started hate commenting. And if you guys actually care about Etika, you guys would actually donate to him, alright guys? And I even left a link on the description to donate to Etika. That's why I added so many ads so I could actually make money from that video. And
this is kind of what I was hoping for in this like mystery box of apology videos where I didn't know what was going on. This video is like kind of the peak of that, because as it goes on, he keeps revealing more worse things he did. He just admitted to putting a ton of ads on the video. I like that he tried to flip it on his audience by being like, you can't get mad at me for doing clickbait about a dead YouTuber. If you really cared, you would donate to him. First of all, I don't know what he means by donate to him if the YouTuber is no longer alive, but maybe there is a fund in his honor that's been established. And he's just expressing himself poorly. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy expressed himself poorly. But also, like, he doesn't know that people didn't donate to an Etika fund. So it's a pretty weak defense.
And I'm getting so much hate for literally nothing, alright guys? I just wanted to help out Etika. I just wanted to put the link on the description so people will actually donate to him, alright guys? How can I even told you guys Etika passed away, and I'm actually gonna donate all the ad money from this video to Etika and suicide prevention, alright guys? And I apologize for anything you guys.
Okay, even if we believe him, which I don't, that he was gonna donate all the money, I feel like if you approached the family of someone that died in this way and said, hey, I'm interested in doing a fundraiser for your deceased loved one, they'd probably be like, oh, that sounds great. What are you gonna do? And then you say, I had a plan where I upload a YouTube video that's clickbait saying that I called their ghost at 3 a.m. and it was really scary. So probably their ghost is like demonic or deformed or spooky in some way that would make it a good ghost video. That's usually how these things go. And then I'm going to put a ton of ads in the video and basically just run around my house pretending to be really scared by your loved one. I speculate that the family would say, we actually prefer you don't do that. Please don't do that. Do something else maybe to raise the money. In fact, you could just do a video that wasn't about Etika at all. And just because he died recently, you could just say in the video description, like, I'm so sad about what happened to him. I'm going to donate the proceeds of this video. You don't have to make the video clickbait about the dead person in order to donate the proceeds to that person's cause. I don't know if he knows that. I don't know if he knows much.
I didn't do anything, but I will apologize to you guys that I know I didn't do anything. Why should I even do that, guys? Like for one video. Why should I
It's a good question. It's a very good question.
even do that, get all this hate for one video which got like, I knew it's gonna get like 20,000 views for me, alright guys? And again, I apologize for anything you guys think I did. I actually apologize to you guys, alright guys? And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.
I love that he's getting a call at the end. Do you think that was a cliffhanger for the next video? Where a different recently deceased person was trying to call him as a spooky ghost? One can only hope. And also it's like his phone started ringing and he's like, I'm not going to retake that. I did it perfectly the first time. I don't know how to rank this. I think it is like the best possible concept for a bad apology video. And that makes me want to put it on S tier. But as far as succeeding at what he set out to do, it would be an F. So I feel like I have to put it in the F tier. He did at least make it clear what people were mad about. So maybe like points for that. He didn't really apologize. It was more just making excuses. And the thing he did was pretty bad. So yeah, I guess I'll put it in F tier, but with the caveat that I think this is a good watch in terms of like bad apologies. I also really like that he delivered it in that same clickbaity cadence, as though he was like hosting a ghost story video. It's kind of the same cadence where people will do like flex content, all the same gesticulating and like tone and tempo as what I presume his normal content is like. I really wish people would like defend themselves in court and talk like that. Okay, I know the cropping is kind of off now, but I don't want to redo the OBS windows just for this. I think I remember when this happened. These guys are the Fine Bros, and they did all those React channels. It's like a network of channels. It's like kids react, adults react, teens react, old people react. And I think I do remember what they were in trouble for, but I'm gonna just start it and see if it's made clear in this video.
This video is us wanting to explain some things about React World. The confusion and negative response over what this all is has been so overwhelming. And what we've realized is that we completely screwed up with how we originally talked about this.
First and foremost, we're sorry for confusing people by using terminology like our React format. We were never trying to say that every video where someone reacts to something else is something we would try to control. When we referenced licensing the React format, we only meant our specific series, not the overall genre of reaction videos. We do not own the genre.
They're kind of summing it up. I'm just gonna give like a TLDR of what was happening here. So they had all these channels like kids react, teens react, old people react. You know, the format, if you haven't seen them before, I don't know if they still make these, but the format is like play clips of something, and then you have a panel of people sitting there with a laptop, and you like intercut them watching clips with them reacting to the clips. And then, like I said, the series were all titled like blank reacts to blank. So at one point they announced that they were starting a new initiative called React World, and it was going to be a new like company. And I think the general idea was that they were going to copyright the format of the React shows, but then it was going to be kind of like a licensing situation where for like a cut of people's videos or maybe an upfront fee, I'm not sure what the exact structure was, people could then make their own blank React series. So you could make like dogs react. And then you would just give them some kind of licensing fee. And then by doing that, you would gain access to like their assets. And their format, they say. I don't know what they meant by that, because their assets, I guess, would just be like, you could use the font that they always use for their logos. I guess, presumably the benefit of cross-promotion. Like maybe they would have a big master channel where they make playlists of all the spin-off channels, and then by affiliation, you would be able to get more views potentially. So the problem people had with this is fairly obvious. The problem is that the React concept is so general. They're saying that they only wanted to copyright their own assets and their own format and presumably their titling convention. But all of those things, even though they did kind of popularize this trend initially, all of the things that are hallmarks of their channel are also just the entire genre of reaction videos. So when they say that they weren't trademarking the genre of reaction videos, that cannot be true with the rest of what they're saying, because I can't think of any part of their business entity, literally other than, like I said, the logo, that would be distinct from just preventing everyone else from doing reaction videos. So everyone was really mad about this because the implication is basically, if I wanted to do a video like me reacting to YouTuber apology videos, then if they had successfully started this React World initiative and copyrighted the format, then I would have to pay them a licensing fee to film myself reacting to anything. And like I said, they say that's not what their intent was, and maybe that's true, and they just hadn't thought about the implications of what they were doing. But then I would ask, like, what did they think they were licensing out? Because like I said, other than like logo fonts and things like that, I can't really think of anything else that they could be licensing out, because the setup, like I said, like, it's well set up, like it's visually simple and like it conveys things well. But the idea of like someone sitting at a laptop and then cutting to the thing they're reacting to and then cutting back to them reacting and occasionally doing like picture in picture, that's just how you do a video of someone reacting to something. So it does seem the way everyone interpreted it, which was that they were trying to copyright an extremely popular general type of video and force everyone on the platform to pay them royalties every time they made a video in this extremely general type, which is that.
Okay, so first is what exactly constitutes any of your series formats? And the simple answer is watch any of our series that is part of the React World license, and that is the exact format. It's not one or two elements.
Too general. Too general.
All of the elements of the show, all used in the same style and way.
We've been trying.
You really can't say that because it's both too specific and too general. Because it's like if you're sitting in a room with a white wall behind you and a laptop on a desk in front of you, is that their format? And you can see that by watching it? Or if they're saying it's exactly your video, could you argue like, oh, I use different percentage values of picture in picture versus cutaways. And instead of being filmed at a 30-degree angle, the camera was facing someone head on when they reacted to the video. So it doesn't count anymore. It's like, yeah, that didn't really help clarify it at all. If anything, it kind of strengthened the idea that they would have subjective discretion to watch any video where people reacted to anything and be like, you owe us royalties. I do kind of feel like too big a deal was made out of this, only in the sense that I don't think what they were trying to do would have held up in court anyway. So, but I do feel like if they created the illusion that they had succeeded in doing it, it probably would be easy to intimidate small channels into paying you royalties when they weren't certain of their rights. So it still could have been leverage to like exploit people.
If you wanted to start a fast food restaurant, you can start one on your own and possibly find huge success. But if you love Burger King and want to be part of that organization, if you join, you'd be able to get access to things like menu items and recipes and specific logos and promotional support. And these are
So we got logos. That was the only thing I could think of. And that's the only specific thing we've been given. So no new information yet.
Same kind of thing here with React World. You can join and get all these assets and support, or you can make your own reaction videos completely without us. It's up to you.
Okay, so another question is, have you applied for any trademarks? Yes, we have trademarks just like other companies that use trademarks to protect their properties. So for example, we have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/react. So we're trying to protect it and not run the risk of losing our channel name thanks to someone else getting the trademark. But just because we have or might get trademarks doesn't mean we're going to run around and start taking down videos.
And the last thing we're going to talk about is if there has ever been a situation where we have to take down someone's video. Yes. And look, when you create series and products, sometimes there is specific situations where your content is being infringed. Like if someone freeboots a video on Facebook, or in very rare cases, if someone produces a beat-by-beat version of your exact series, which has happened to us.
I think the presentation of this was fine. You could tell that they had written and prepared it, and they knew when to alternate speaking. It's framed professionally. That's shot in their office, it looks like. But I don't think the content of the apology is adequate. I don't think it really clarifies anything. I think the analogy of the burger restaurant is a particularly poor one. If you say like, you know, if you want to be a McDonald's franchisee, you can, but if you want to open Burger King, McDonald's isn't going to sue you. And it's like, that's true, but that's because you're not calling yourself McDonald's. React World is more like if McDonald's tried to copyright the idea of a fast food restaurant that serves burgers and French fries. And then they'd be like, if any other restaurant wants to have yellow and gold in their logo and squishy booths to sit in and a drive-through and serve burgers and fries, that is the whole of what we are. So they can't do that. And that's not what McDonald's does. Also, McDonald's makes more sense as a trademarkable name. When your brand and the thing that makes it trademarkable to you is just the word react, and it's a single word, and it is the word that describes what this genre of video has happening in it, trademarking it would inherently mean you are going to police everyone else doing it. There was that weird part at the end. I didn't remember them being in trouble for doing strikes on other videos that were infringing. Obviously, the first thing they talked about, it sounded like they were talking about re-uploading their content to other platforms. Obviously, that's a slam dunk. But then they also talked about people doing beat-for-beat copies of their video. And it's like, I don't think you can police that at all. And it's like I said, it's just because the React genre is so general. And I understand, like, as far as I remember, they were the first ones to really do videos of someone reacting to something. And so I'm sure it does suck to see something that's a format you invent become a genre. But also, when you're very new to a new platform, it's kind of inevitable that that might happen, and it doesn't mean you can then legally own that concept. And I also feel like they don't even need to concern themselves about that because their presence on the platform was already so large that no matter how many people copied them, they weren't really in danger of losing direct viewership because of it. In terms of how I don't think they could really legally reinforce this stuff, I feel like they would also have a really hard time proving damages to their company. It'd be one thing if someone else shot Kids React and they're reacting to the same thing and they've been fed a script to say all the same comments. Or even you could argue maybe Kids React, they could trademark because it's more of a phrase and a little more of a specific concept, although a lot of people have kids and a lot of kids would react to things in different ways. If I recall correctly, the ultimate outcome of this drama is that they just gave up on the whole concept of React World altogether, which I think is for the best. But also they hadn't even decided to do that at the time of this apology video. In this, they're clearly defending the idea. So if they later went on to cancel the whole idea, that means this apology video didn't succeed. I also remember that it made people angrier and it didn't clarify much. So I'm going to put it on D tier because I do think the delivery of it seems professional, although they do seem a bit agitated. I know I've seen this channel before. I don't remember what she does, if it's like tutorials or like fashion content or vlogging, but I'm certain I've seen her before. Her name is simply Kenna, and it looks like this is a re-upload, and it looks like the video was originally titled all lowercase, I'm sorry. Although I know I've seen this person's content before, I have never heard of any scandal that's happened with her, so I have no idea what this is going to be about. Also, it already started with the long exhale, so there's that.
My cards are all out on the table now. Will you look, or will you fold?
What? Oh, this is exciting! Okay. It's like an indie film apology video.
Am I a human? Am I a monster? Or am I something in between? You see, I tried to be the hero, but that's not real. I've done bad things.
And the music behind it? This is already legendary. And I also don't think she's going to tell us what she was canceled for, and it's just going to be a slam poem. But oh my god.
I've told tales, false regales.
It rhymes.
Thrown pebbles, sticks, and stones. I've hurt people, and behind covers, it made me feel much less alone. Most times I wouldn't see the faults I made till tables turned. And once they did...
Okay, so obviously this is still really great. I want to remark on the visuals happening here. This looks like it's probably the room she normally films in because it looks very, like, aesthetic. It's got the cute drawers and, like, the sprinkle wall. I feel like a lot of YouTubers will try to go for, like, some of them do no makeup, but most of them do no makeup, where like they just do foundation and like understated eye makeup, but they're still wearing makeup. And I've always thought that was a little silly. I think the idea is oh, if I don't wear my usual glam makeup, then people will know that it's the real raw me. But it's not the real raw you. In fact, if you make a choice to do your makeup differently than you normally do, it feels like even more of a put on. So here she's got like full face of makeup, but I also, from what I remember, this is just how she always does her makeup. So I think that's a fine, neutral choice. I don't think the flower crown feels like a neutral choice. I don't know if I would wear a twig and flower crown to do an apology video, just personally.
I knew how witches felt to be accused against their word.
Oh my God.
And sometimes I think assumptions just might be the death of me, for I assume that people know the things I think and things I see. And when others make assumptions of their own eyes and their own mind, that's when trouble surely follows, because assumptions lead to lies. I wasn't trying to take the credit. I was never trying to deceive. But people often fail to listen once there is something they believe. And it's so easy for tales to twist, thoughts to mix, and words to spread. And it's so easy to pass on judgment when all you can see is red. But I know I'm not the victim here, for my carelessness made things unclear, and for that I'll accept my fate, and I'll learn from my mistakes, for I am someone who slips often. I fear my bed is my own coffin.
I feel the need to critique this as a poem. You know, we still haven't gotten to what she's apologizing for, and we probably will never know. But I feel like I have to say that from like a poetry level, this is not high quality. First of all, it's sort of a childish choice to do the rhyming couplets situation instead of like, there's no internal rhyme or like, what's it called? Like consonants and assonance, where it's like you have internal rhyme where there's like kind of a repetition of certain vowels and consonant sounds. But also, I feel like one thing a lot of people overlook about poetry is one of the most important qualities of good poetry is like an economy of space. It's kind of the idea of like conveying a depth of meaning in few words, or at least like concisely, and often through like abstract imagery. That's like what makes it a poem. She's repeating herself so much. I feel like we've gotten like 6 consecutive verses that are all expressing the exact same thing as each other. And also not a lot of figurative stuff going on here. She is just kind of saying that she's upset. I've seen some bad poems where they'll do like a metaphor the whole poem, and then at the end break the metaphor. Like I saw a poem, I think on TikTok, where someone was talking about like my mother in me, or like my mother's shadow. And then they're like, I watched my mother do this and that. And then at the end of the poem, they're just like, I am my mother. I see so much of myself in her. And it's like, oh yeah, that's what the poem was conveying already. So I don't know why you're just telling me at the end. Less of a poem and more just like a diary entry, I guess.
I won't lay to rest just yet, even if I'm in over my head. And I'm sorry. Hear me, I'm sorry. For me, that's somehow hard to say.
Wait, also, how can it be a witch hunt and she's sorry? So sorry that she said it twice, although not emphatically.
People demand apologies, I tend to run away. I'm not sure why, it's something deep inside, a fault I need to fix. My spoken words won't seem to work, and so instead, I resort to this. An apology through poetry is me in my rawest form. I hope you'll—
She's literally doing like, I didn't know what to say about it, but I knew what to poem about it. It's literally the same as the Colleen Ballinger video. It's so good. You know what, actually, my hot take is that this is more iconic than the Toxic Gossip Train video. This is better than the ukulele apology. I feel like this is like understated in its cringe and its earnestness. I don't know. I guess they're kind of tied in that both people, you can tell they really thought they were doing something and like owning the haters or whatever. I think this one is more embarrassing for me to watch. So I think this one's better.
Although I know for some this won't be enough, I hope the rest will hear me out. For this is my apology, my white flag waving proud. Am I a human? Am I a monster? Or am I just a living thing?
She's called it an apology a couple times, and it objectively is not. There was a lot of language about like knowing how the witches feel and people tearing you down. And here's this common like insincere argument tactic. It's a manipulation tactic to use hyperbole of what people are accusing you of. So it's like you forget to take out the trash and your roommate gets annoyed at you and is like, this is like the third time I've had to remind you, this is supposed to be your responsibility. And you say, okay, I get it. I'm the worst roommate ever. You know what? I should just move out because you hate living with me so much. It's like escalating beyond a degree. I mean, maybe people were calling her a monster. I don't know. But it does feel like a use of hyperbole to kind of force people to absolve you of all guilt instead of just acknowledging the level of guilt you actually have and being like, what I did wasn't that bad, but it was this, and I feel this amount of sorry about it. But I don't even know what she did. I didn't think I was going to do this, but I feel like I have to Google what this apology is about. I have to know.
Am I good or am I evil? I think we're all just in between.
Ooh, okay. I like the covering the lens at the end. This is so like 500 Days of Summer core. Like, did this come out in like 2012 or something originally? If it was more recent than that, that's crazy. I'm gonna Google what this was an apology for. What's her name again? Simply Kenna. I'm Googling Simply Kenna apology, but I honestly don't know if it's gonna give me a good summary of what it's about. Okay, I don't know if this is the same scandal as the video I just watched, but the first thing I found, and this does sound familiar to me, is that she has tattoos that are stolen artwork. So like she probably Googled a phrase and then found art of something that she liked and then took it to a tattoo artist to get it like Xeroxed onto her skin, and then didn't ask the artist and didn't credit the artist. I don't know. I feel like I understand that people get mad about that, and I understand why they get mad about that. But I also can fully imagine a situation where someone, especially a young person, and especially someone who's not themselves like an artist or a tattoo artist, could just be ignorant to why that's not appropriate. So I feel like if she had done a more sincere sounding apology, I would just be like, I believe her that she didn't mean harm when she did that. However, this video just came across as like pompous and like mad at people for being mad at you. So this is like all the hallmarks of the worst possible apology video. Didn't really apologize, made excuses. Seemed like she was putting on airs with the soft piano music, the fact that it was a poem, and potentially the flower crown. Didn't say what she was even apologizing for or what she had done. And I guess that's kind of everything. But, oh, and then also like didn't seem sorry, didn't make adequate excuses, didn't give assurance that she wouldn't do it again. So I guess she did say the words, I'm sorry, but that wasn't the overall spirit of the video. So yeah, this is F. Although, as I said, I do think this is a funnier watch than the ukulele apology. I think in terms of how bad of an apology is, it's probably even worse than that one. And also just, like, even if people aren't mad at you for the thing you're apologizing for, the secondhand embarrassment that comes with a video like this is unfathomable. I understand why she deleted the original upload, but I'm thankful that a copy still exists for me. This is a Ricegum video. I have never watched his content, but I'm familiar with his reputation. And this is titled, This Dude Calls Me Out for Mystery Unboxing. So far, I think the title is strong because I do believe this is probably how he titles all of his videos. Like, this just, it doesn't even feel like it's gonna be an apology based on title alone. So that intrigues me.
I'm telling you guys, man, I'm not playing around. 2019, I am not playing around. I posted yesterday, I'm here again today. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow, but how is everybody doing? Hope everyone's doing fine. Yesterday, I was doing
It's a weird intro for an apology video. I'm guessing this is not gonna be an apology video based on his demeanor. This is gonna be a denial of wrongdoing video. So, we'll see. Oh. I feel like I just did the thing that live streamer did where he accidentally showed his folder. And I feel like I also reacted the same way he did when he did it. But also, all I was showing was an eBay listing that I had been looking at for a plush of Fampi, the elephant Pokemon. So that was my scandal. Oops. You got me.
I woke up to this, man. The front page of Twitter talking about Jake Paul and Ricegum under fire for promoting gambling site to kids. Like, I don't even want to be associated.
I want to go back. That was a really funny image to accompany that article. It's just image of like me when I'm selling gambling to kids.
Gambling site to kids. Like, I don't even want to be associated with this guy, and it just doesn't look good. And there's no way to start the year. Like, what? I just need to clear this up because I don't even think it's a big deal.
I like starting with I don't think it's a big deal. Where it's like, I didn't do that, but also if I did, it's not even bad and I don't care.
Basically, my management just came to me and was like, yo, Rice, here's this deal. Promote the app or whatever, you get paid, right? And on YouTube, it's like a common thing. Like when YouTubers work with brands and sponsored videos, like I've seen Shane Dawson, I've seen so many YouTubers do it. Keemstar actually tweeted saying, first big story of 2019, Jake Paul, Ricegum, gambling, blah, blah, blah. But at the bottom, he said, I was offered $100K to do the same thing and almost took the cash, but didn't, so I can't go that hard on them. So apparently they only offered Keemstar $100K. So my numbers are higher. So imagine how much they offered me, right? So the money was on the table. And if I want—
Wait a second. I think his views have actually gone down since that screenshot. He had 10 million subs and now he has 9.97. It's not a big change, but it's been 5 years. And that probably doesn't mean people mass unsubscribed at any point and then it steadily grew. It kind of suggests that like he stagnated and then had a lot of followers that are like old dead accounts. So that's interesting. I haven't heard anything about him in a while. Maybe he doesn't post anymore.
So the money was on the table, and if I wanted the money, I just had to open up a few Supreme boxes and shoe boxes, and boom, I get the money. So I was like, yo, that sounds easy enough. So I dropped the video, really think nothing much of it, and then just out of nowhere, all these random YouTubers out of nowhere come out dropping exposed videos, calling me out.
I really like that his main defense so far has been that the sponsorship was low effort for him to do. Which doesn't mean it was morally right. Yeah, I promoted gambling to kids, but all that happened is that a company showed up and offered me a lot of money, and all I had to do was show their website and get free stuff from them, and it was really easy for me, so I did it. So when I put it that way, can't you see that it was fine?
Yo guys, I actually filmed this video yesterday, and at the time, H3H3 was the most popping YouTuber to call me out, but the things have changed. This morning, PewDiePie just dropped a video on me. I'm in the title, I'm in the thumbnail. This dude's the biggest YouTuber in the world, man. I guess this is like a big deal. This popular YouTuber made a video, like, kind of roasting me. I mean, like,
the energy of this is really funny, that he's like, being starstruck. He's kind of hyping himself up where it's like, I did something wrong and big channels are talking about me. Some really big channels, you guys.
All these guys right here, right? They're in David Dobrik's crew, whatever. They're influential, got kid fans. Same thing, open up boxes. This was 3 weeks ago, way before I was doing it. Why did no one bring it up 3 weeks ago or even talk about these guys?
I kind of get what he means. He feels singled out, but generally a good defense is not the thing I did that's wrong has been done by other people also. Like, again, imagine this was like a murder trial. It's not really gonna fly to be like, well, that guy killed at least 3 people and you didn't get this mad at him that I saw.
Same exact thing, literally same thing, 4 months ago. And he's not even promoting gambling to kids. He is a kid gambling. This dude's 17 gambling. It's not a problem though, right? Well, I'm not gonna sit here and just bring up everyone that did the same deal as me. I'm just trying to say this mystery box thing has been on the internet for like 3 to 4 months from other creators, but as soon as I do it, it's a problem. I actually saw some people compare what I did to the CSGO gambling thing, and I'm just like, what is not even close? I don't know if you guys heard about that. But the CSGO gambling thing, there was these 2 YouTubers, TmarTn and Syndicate, right, or whatever, and they were like promoting this gambling app. In the video, they were unboxing.
I like that there's continuity in this playlist. So like, the CSGO thing came back, the same guy came back.
Come to find out, those 2 guys own like the gambling site, like they were owners of it, which...
That's what it was. Oh my God. Okay, I thought it was like an undisclosed ad partnership. That's crazy to own the company and to just be promoting it as if you don't. That's wild. That's so bad.
People keep saying that the website is sketch and all this stuff, and it's like, you guys can form your own opinions, do your research. But my experience on it, you know, I would spend $100, and at times I got like a fidget spinner, and then I would spend $100, and at times I got like a good item. It was basically you win some, you lose some, and that's like the definition of gambling. Like, thinking back, was it even worth doing this deal? Like, all this controversy, was it even worth it? I don't know, man. You know, I do feel bad, you know, I'm like kind of defending myself and stuff, but I do know I'm somewhat in the wrong. I think just H3 said it best.
I mean, there's a reason you need to be 21 years old to gamble, because you need to know what you're doing. It's dangerous, it's addicting, it's a vice, right? It's a real vice. Many lives have been ruined due to gambling addiction.
It's true. I'm an asshole. Like, what was I thinking? Like, I can't really do much because I already did it. The damage has been done. You guys already saw a money hungry side of me, and it is what it is. And there's nothing I can really do but say sorry and give you these Amazon gift cards. So I'm sorry. It just wouldn't happen again. Amazon codes, $10 to $20, just a little giveaway. It's the least I can do after this. Okay. Have a good day, guys. I'm sorry again. I hope you guys can forgive me. Let's have a good year. Yeah. No. Okay. All right.
You know what's really sad is he had me for a minute. I was gonna give him a passing grade. In spite of how, I know what you're thinking, how? Like, this video was kind of a disaster. Here was my reasoning, okay. He seems really ignorant and maybe like not the brightest perhaps. I don't know him. That's only my impression based on this video. But there was a lot of like ignorance on display in this video. And so initially I was thinking like, no, his defenses didn't make sense and didn't justify promoting gambling to children in exchange for money. But I was trying to put myself in his shoes, and I was kind of hearing in my heart that the spirit of what he was saying was not everyone else did it, so why can't I do it? But more like I've seen other YouTubers promote it. So I just assumed that this was all above board, and it didn't occur to me that there was anything morally wrong with promoting it because it almost seemed co-signed by these other bigger channels. He didn't express it well. He just instead whined being like, why aren't they in trouble too? And it's like, okay, we're also mad at them, so that doesn't help. But I was thinking maybe he's telling the truth. Like I said, he seems pretty ignorant over the course of this video, so I would believe that it didn't occur to him why this was bad to promote. And then there was that moment where he was like, you win some, you lose some, and in hindsight, that is what gambling is. So I don't know, maybe I did do something wrong. And if he had ended the video there, I would have given him a passing grade. I would have been like, it took him a minute, but it does seem like the cogs in his head are turning, and he is kind of realizing he did something wrong. And even though there was a lot of posturing, he arrived at the right conclusion. But then he started playing like the insincere, like the sarcastic, sad music. And then he started throwing up Amazon codes, which obviously not everyone that got duped into gambling as a child is going to receive one of those Amazon codes. I think he threw up like maybe 20 tops. So that really just seemed like a power move and not actually him trying to like make amends with anyone. And just him being like, I'm rich, I don't care. Just kidding, I'm not sorry. So he came off really badly. Like I said, I don't know that much about him, but this is a pretty poor impression. My heart was really going out to him for like maybe 75% of this video, and now I just really dislike him. So, so it's actually funny because I went in sort of neutral, and this video made me feel negatively about him. So I guess that's the definition of a fail. So this one's going to be an F, I'm afraid. I remember hearing about this scandal. This is a re-upload, and it's called Zoella Explains 50-Pound Advent Calendar Scandal Exposed. I remember this. Zoella, I never watched Zoella, but I know she was like kind of one of the original like aesthetic vlogger channels. And I think she was like one of the first YouTube girls to start getting like mainstream deals with like makeup collabs or like lifestyle brands. So let's hear what she has to say.
So I was editing this vlog that you have just watched, and I thought I would put this little bit in at the end because there has been some upset, disappointed people in the Zoella Lifestyle Advent Calendar, more specifically, the price of the calendar. The calendar is something I've worked on for a year. I love the product. I am all about the creativity. I'm all about getting it from a design to a product. Where my input ends is there. Once that product is done and I'm happy with it, the retailer can decide how much they sell that for. That's completely out of my decision making. I don't have the right to make those decisions.
First of all, I'm not an expert on this. I don't think that's true. I think certainly the retailer can add an additional markup to your product to decide how much profit they want to turn without marking it up so much that no one buys it. But obviously there is a markup after manufacturing costs, and that would be determined by her. And also, if she doesn't explain it well, I'm going to tell you what the scandal was later.
So it makes me so sad that a product that I loved and worked hard on, and that loads of you like the product, it is just having that product at the price that was out of my decision has left so many people so upset. And I feel just as let down by this also. And the price of any product is up to a retailer. And I know that there's some of you that might not have known that, so I wanted to come on here and like explain that to you, because even my mum didn't realize that.
If you had priced what a retailer was acquiring your product for, and then let's say like it costs $4 to manufacture and you price it at $20 because you want to make a lot of money off of it, and then you send it to the retailer and they mark it up to like $50, and you're like, whoa, that's a huge markup. I don't know how these percentages usually shake out, but you could say to yourself, wow, I can't believe that retailer marked it up so much. I no longer think that if anyone buys it, it's going to be a fair value. I feel like that is still on you. I understand that if you're like kind of new to merchandising with like major retailers, maybe that would put you in an uncomfortable position because you don't want to be the one to like make an enemy of them and then no one wants to work with you or carry your products anymore. But I also feel like the first loyalty should be to the fans if she's a YouTuber, because it's like, you know, that's the basis of her whole career is the fandom. And I feel like being a YouTuber and having a platform, you would be in like a uniquely good position to just hop online and be like, hey, I envisioned this product being sold for £30. And now, or I feel like when people say British prices, they say, it costs £30, and they just say it singular for some reason. Anyway, I thought it would cost £30, and they're charging 50 quid. So I feel like you could leverage your platform to, I mean, obviously you should approach them in private first, but I feel like if that fails, you can then leverage your platform against the retailer to be like, hey, they marked it up way more than I anticipated. I don't think that's a fair price for what the product is, because I just claimed that I spent a really long time making the product and it's not worth that. And I don't want you to be disappointed and feel scammed by me. So I recommend you either buy it from such and such retailer, assuming anywhere else sells it. I think in this case, probably just one retailer was selling it. Or you could just say like, I no longer stand by this product. I think it's a shame that this happened. I didn't have control over the final price point. And there wasn't transparency about what it would be marked up toward. Because again, if it's being sold by only one retailer, I feel like you would have the power to ask them what they're thinking the final price is going to be set at. Just none of it checks out for me. Also, I feel like she's not going to explain it. So in order to not confuse people, I'm going to explain what people are mad about. She's a YouTuber and she came out with a 50-pound advent calendar. Everyone was really mad because I guess because it's 50 pounds, they were expecting kind of a decent value to the items inside. Oh, if you don't celebrate Christmas, an advent calendar is just like counting down to Christmas. And then sometimes advent calendars are literally just like a calendar where you like mark the days, like cross them off. And then the more common advent calendars are like a cardboard, like a big cardboard sheet, a big box, and it has like doors you can rip open with little chocolates inside. So the chocolate version is the most common version, but then it's evolved and grown throughout different brands to basically be whatever this brand makes, but put in an advent calendar format. So you have like 25 little doors to open leading up from December 1st to Christmas. You get surprises in it. Like I know a lot of makeup brands will do advent calendars now. So then you get little tiny sample sizes of different makeup products, like a tiny sample of mascara or like a miniature nail polish bottle. Whenever major brands do advent calendars, I feel like people do always get right on the discourse as far as like, is it worth it for what you're getting? I do kind of feel like that's useless discourse to begin with, because like if you really cared about getting stuff you like and getting it for a good value, you would just buy it in a non-blind box format. I feel like you just kind of accept that most of what you're paying for with advent calendars is being surprised with something you might not have thought to buy for yourself. And it feels more like a present because even though you bought it for yourself, you don't know what it is yet. So I guess that's just the appeal of all mystery box things. That said, some advent calendars will just be transparent about what's in the box and you can look before you buy it. I don't know if that was the case here. Some advent calendars are only 12 days, and that also usually suggests that you're going to get slightly better or bigger products because it comes with fewer of them. So like, if it's a 24-day advent calendar leading up to Christmas Eve, then you assume you're going to get probably tinier stuff to fit it into the advent calendar box. But if it's only 12, a lot of companies will do like 12 days of pairs of socks, or some advent calendars are only 7 days before Christmas, and then you get bigger things. So apparently this was a 12-day advent calendar, and it looks like it was only sold on Boots' website. I think that's just kind of a department store, like British Target. And then everyone got mad because the people that bought it for £50 expected more like bespoke things that maybe would be branded to say Zoella, or I don't know, because I don't know that much about Zoella, what her brand, how that would translate to an advent calendar. But if she's a lifestyle YouTuber, I would maybe assume like things you've seen her use, or like products she's recommended in other videos, or things she's formulated. I also, if it's a Zoella advent calendar, I would hope that one of the products feels bespoke and like says Zoella on it somewhere or something, and didn't just feel like random stuff. But my impression is that it was just random stuff. So it had a key ring, a pen, a bauble, that's what British people call Christmas ornaments, a cookie cutter, a jotter. I don't know what that is. That's a British word too. Probably just a notebook, probably a tiny notebook, candle, stickers, among other trinkets. Most of the critique was that it seemed like stuff you could just get from the dollar store. And I do think, given how generic all of those things sound, it is really funny to be like, I worked on this for like, what did she say, a year? Did she say like 2 years? It definitely seems like what happened is this brand approached her being like, can we collaborate with your brand identity to release an advent calendar? And she was like, yes. And they put her on the outside packaging. And then the contents inside were just generic girly things that you could get at the dollar store, packaged in an advent calendar. She obviously denies that that's what happened, but that to me appears to clearly be what happened. And also just like, obviously they felt like the sum total of everything they got wasn't equivalent to £50. As I said, I feel like part of buying an advent calendar is assuming that at least some of the value comes from the mystery box aspect, and you're never going to like exactly break even, but it should come pretty close. And I feel like when you see a higher price point, you do assume you're going to get more robust things from it.
My intention was to make a product that I thought you guys would love, which I still think is a product that I think you would love. It's just been completely ruined by a decision that I didn't make. My input in this is creative. It's coming up with new ideas. It's new, like, cool packaging concepts. It's new scents. It's new things we can do. And it's like testing formulations, and it's all those things. That's where I get involved in this, and I'm very heavily involved in that, and I love it. Like, I'm currently on...
But also, like, formulating scents and stuff, I don't think any of that applied to the products that were in the advent calendar. So maybe that's true of, like, her other collabs, but...
It's handed over. It's like a baby that's handed over to somebody else, and then they get to choose what they do with that. And I think... after seeing some people's feedback on this, it's quite obvious that the decision that was made by the retailer was the wrong decision. And I'm sure that they will take that information and they will take this on board. I really hope that this has made sense. Not all those decisions are mine to make, and the price is one of them. So I'm really sorry that so many of you felt so let down by this product. I really hope that this kind of clears that up for you, because there's a lot of people that think I chose that price and that I don't care. And
I feel like what she's failing to address is, like, I feel like if you're going to defend your advent calendar that's like a keychain and a miniature cookie cutter and like a pen, she's saying that the retailer alone selected the price, which, like I said, I don't fully believe. Like, maybe they suggested a price, but I don't believe she had no agency over it, and and even if she didn't have agency over it, she would surely be aware of what the price was, and then she could express how she felt about that to the retailer or to her fans to warn them, putting aside whether or not she controlled the price. I feel like if you say you spent 2 years doing an advent calendar, you now owe it to us to like walk us through the things that were in the advent calendar and what your thought process in choosing them was. I want to hear her saying, I looked at 10 different cookie cutters trying to decide which ones to use. And I designed the respective sizes and shapes of the little paper doors in the cardboard box. And I wanted to do a gingerbread house shaped cookie cutter. And it was too square, so it was too wide for the remaining space for a door. So I had to settle on a gingerbread man. And obviously that was more slim and tall, so that fit better in the door. But then I had to look at countless gingerbread man cookie cutters to pick the right one. Did I want a female gingerbread woman with a bow? Or did I want a completely neutral gingerbread man? It's just, I want her to walk us through why that would take 2 years to do. I feel like that's really the only thing that could salvage this situation. I'm gonna give this, I guess I'm gonna give it a D, because it's not as actively awful as ones we've seen elsewhere in the list. But I don't think she's, first of all, I don't believe her excuses. And second of all, I don't think the excuses she's given even adequately explain what happened. I think it definitely seems like she just signed a contract to put her name on a cheap product to kind of scam her fans. I guess maybe I believe her that she didn't know what it was being sold for, but only in the sense that she probably wasn't following the progress or development of the product at all, and probably didn't pick what was in the advent calendar and signed this contract 2 years ago and then forgot about it. I guess maybe I believe her that she was ignorant to what was going on with the setting of the price, but I think it's only because she cared so little about what her name was attached to and what was being sold to her fans that she didn't bother to involve herself in those decisions consciously. So, yeah, that one's going to be a D because it was bad. This next one is Will Smith. It's from only a year ago and it's titled, It's Been a Minute, ... I'm shocked. I never heard about this one. I didn't know Will Smith had done a YouTube apology. Given that it's from a year ago, it's gotta be for the Oscars slap. But given how much I was forced to hear about the Oscars slap across all media, I'm surprised I never heard about a YouTube apology for it. But let's do it. Okay. All right. The sigh. You gotta do the sigh. Another sigh.
Why didn't you apologize to Chris in your acceptance speech? I was fogged out by that point. It's all fuzzy. Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior was unacceptable, and I'm here whenever you're ready to talk.
Is this, I mean, maybe that's just his water of choice, but this looks like a sponsor. It looks like he's been sponsored by a fancy water brand.
I'm not going to try to unpack all of that right now, but I can say to all of you, there is no part of me that thinks that was the right way to behave in that moment. After Jada rolled her eyes, did she tell you to do something?
This is such an odd format that it's shot like a podcast and that he's kind of like, he's forced to read the audience questions off of like a teleprompter kind of woodenly. Like, I'm so confused by the format. I guess maybe they decided it would be more authentic than him just having a prepared statement, but the questions have been pre-prepared. So it's just like, why is it a one-man podcast?
To all my fellow nominees, you know, this is a community. It's like I won because you voted for me. And it really breaks my heart to have stolen and tarnished your moment. What would you say to the people who looked up to you before the slap, or people who expressed that you let them down?
I'm sorry, but that's just kind of an insane question to receive about slapping someone. I don't think it's okay, but I don't know. The way people reacted to this, it's almost like if he had like assault allegations, like, I don't know if I can say the phrase, but you know, like, not the slapping kind of assault, the other kind of assault. I feel like that's when people start saying things like, what about your fans who you let down or something? I don't even know how to weigh in on this because it's like, I do think it was wrong, but like, I don't know. It both is a big deal and also was like blown out of proportion in such a weird way. I feel like the outcome of it should have been, you slapped someone at this party, you now have to leave the party. And you can't come back tonight. And then next year you can come to the party. And then also it turned out he won later, so it would have been quite a huge consequence to have been forced before that to leave the party. Because, you know, you still get the award, but the acceptance speech would be like a big career moment. And then that would make him be like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Instead, it was like this weird thing where in the moment, there were like not really any consequences. But then afterward, people were like, well, we kind of froze up and didn't think of any consequences at the time. So now we just kind of want you to repetitively apologize for the next like 2 months. And also, like, why is this on his YouTube channel? Like, I don't know. I guess I don't watch his YouTube channel. My impression is he probably doesn't upload that often. And like, what must the content be? It's probably like a celebrity podcast where it's in this room and it's him with multiple people instead of a teleprompter asking him to apologize multiple different ways. Not to judge an apology video based on this, but it's boring and I don't want to finish it. Like, it's been pretty long. Okay, so let's just go over the criteria. Did he apologize or did he make excuses? I guess he did apologize. He didn't really give an explanation for why he did it, but also it's one of those things where like it was such a weird thing for him to do that I can't think of any explanation to go along with the apology that would make it better. I think honestly this YouTube video optically is worse for me because it's formatted so strangely. He seems so stiff in it, especially when he's reading off the audience questions. And given how many other platforms, bigger platforms he has on which to issue an apology, it sort of seems like he just did this to capitalize on the moment and boost clout for his YouTube channel. But I might be wrong. That is an insane thing to say about like one of the most famous working actors, that he would be chasing clout for his YouTube channel. However, he does have under 10 million subscribers. And there are a lot of like non-A-list actors that have way more subs. And maybe he feels a little self-conscious about that. I don't know. I would say that seems like immature, but slapping someone is also immature. I'm going to give this one a C. Maybe I'll give it a B. Like, I forgive him. The apology video worked. But the video itself is like bad and not really a good look. Okay, no, I'm giving him a C. I'm so excited for this one. I haven't seen this. I actually didn't know this happened. But this has got to be Ellen's response to people saying she's mean. Because that's, I think, the only time Ellen's been canceled. Is like, it's kind of been an open secret for years and years that Ellen is mean and a bad boss. I want to say in 2020, like during the quarantine, during the shutdown, suddenly a lot of people specifically came forward with more specific meanness allegations, and Ellen was canceled for being mean. And that's another thing where it's weird because it's like, I don't know. Meanness isn't a crime, but then also like when your job is as parasocial as a talk show host, of course, people are going to see that and not want to watch you, and that's their right and makes sense. But then also it's like, how do you apologize for being mean either? I feel like if you've been serially mean for a really long time, like what could someone even say to make you be like, I guess I don't believe they're mean anymore, or like, I guess I believe them, they're going to stop being mean. I guess it's kind of like the slap. It's like, it's weird that that happened, but I don't know what you could say to me to make this better or worse. It's just so odd. And also, I don't know, she does like a comedy talk show, so it is really funny to learn that she did a monologue about how she's mean. So I'm really excited for that.
Oh boy, welcome to season 18 of the...
Also, more apology videos should start with oh boy. Wasn't this also the last season of her show? That's such a weird vibe. If I was Ellen, like, I feel like the other open secret was that Ellen, like, hated doing her show and they kept having to bribe her with more and more money to come back because it made a lot of money. And like, I feel like at that point, when you're in a position to be like, I have to apologize for everyone deciding, not even deciding, everyone collectively realizing that I'm mean, I feel like at that point I would just be like, I'm out. I don't need to do the last season. I'll go out on a low note. I don't want to have to stand in my talk show set and monologue about how I'm mean.
If you're watching because you love me, thank you. If you're watching because you don't love me, welcome.
That's already so
awkward. How was everybody's summer? Good? Yeah? Mine was great. I'm so happy to be back in the studio. There are a lot of things I want to talk about. I've been looking forward to addressing it all directly, and unfortunately, talking directly to people has been illegal for 6 months, so I have a virtual audience here instead. Here you all are.
I know this was like a common thing, but the virtual audiences are so scary. And why would anyone agree to that? Like, it's already scary enough being on a Zoom call and feeling observed, even when you're, like, passively participating. Imagine doing that for, like, 30 minutes of television. And then also it's going on television. It's, like, my nightmare.
All right. Let's get to it. As you may have heard...
There's something so, like, dystopian, like, Hunger Games about, like... this woman having to come up on her TV talk show, which is usually, like, a lighthearted affair, and having to deliver a 7-minute monologue about being mean to a sea of screens.
This summer, there were allegations of a toxic work environment at our show. And then there was an investigation. I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. I take that very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people who were affected. I know that I'm in a position of privilege and power, and I realize that with that comes responsibility, and I take responsibility for what happens at my show. We have had a lot of conversations over the last few weeks about the show, our workplace, and what we want for the future. We have made the necessary changes, and today we are starting a new chapter.
Also, like, if the audience is over Zoom, like, those applause sounds were crisp. That was canned applause, which makes this even weirder, because, like, that's not how their Zoom applause would have sounded even if they had clapped. So, very awkward.
Articles in the press and on social media that said that I am not who I appear to be on TV because I became known as the Be Kind lady. The truth is, I am that person that you see on TV. I am also a lot of other things. Sometimes I get sad, I get mad, I get anxious, I get frustrated, I get impatient. And I am working on all of that. I am a work in progress. And if I've ever let someone down, if I've ever hurt their feelings, I am so sorry for that. If that's ever the case, I have let myself down and I've hurt myself as well. I got into this business to make people laugh and feel good. That's my favorite thing to do. That and Jenga. I love that game. And I'm committed to making this the best season that we have ever had.
I feel like this is going to be a controversial take, and it surprises me, but I actually think this was a good apology. I didn't think it would be possible to do a good apology within a comedic talk show monologue, but I think this was pretty good. It was a weak start, so I was worried going into it. I feel like when she first introduced the topic, she was like, I was so disappointed to learn upon investigation that meanness happened at my company. And it's like, well, no, the allegations were that you were mean. And I suppose she didn't name any specific incidents, but she did make it clear that that everyone had found out she was mean. There was a brief sentence in the middle there where she was basically like, I am the person I present myself as on TV, but I'm also mean. And I'm impressed that she admitted to being mean. I guess she said that she's trying to not be mean. Honestly, at her age, she's probably gonna be mean forever. She got in a couple jokes and I didn't laugh at them, but I do think she's a very charismatic woman. I don't know if I believe her that she'll improve, but I feel like most of the content of her monologue was like, I don't try to be mean, but I'm a complex person. And I feel like even if that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see improvement especially if she only has 1 year left at this point of her show, like how much can she improve and make life better for her employees in her final year of being there? But I do feel like she was honest with us. So I'm going to give this one a B. Because like I said, I feel like she didn't say any steps she's going to take to improve or anything, but I do feel like this was uniquely sincere, and she did actually kind of like own up to a pretty embarrassing flaw. So yeah, this is the B grade apology. It's not perfect, but it was pretty good. And I feel like I saw more humanity of Ellen, even though, as I say, I believe she's mean and will probably keep being mean. As she admitted to, she's a complex woman. I think that's true of a lot of comedians, as we've learned time and again. Okay, I was playing this playlist backwards because I saw that the first video was a Jaystation apology. I've never seen an apology video by him, but I am an ironic fan of Jaystation content, so I'm really excited to see this one. And this is the last one in the playlist, so here we go.
What's up?
He's already delivering. This is already so good. He's got a sarcophagus behind him. When I was talking about like how you stage the setting of your apology video, I couldn't have even imagined I would be given a sarcophagus. My favorite thing about the sarcophagus is like the rule of thirds is not being followed. The sarcophagus is kind of behind him. It's not like differentiated in the frame, like it should be off to the left more. So that makes me think he didn't think about the angle of this video. And that makes me think he forgot about the sarcophagus. Like he's so used to it that it's like not even processing in his mind, like, how do I want the sarcophagus to be framed in this video? It's just like, well, time to sit down in my normal room and say what I have to say.
This video is like super hard for me to make. Basically, I want to have a heart-to-heart with you guys about everything that's gone on with me in the last like few years. So basically,
I have to say I'm on the edge of my seat because I've heard of so many horrible things Jaystation has done, and most of them are like wild.
I've done a lot of stupid things in my life.
That's literally what I just said.
And a lot of stupid things for attention on YouTube. I'm really not proud of who I became. I really lost who I was as a person in pursuit of success or YouTube. And I'm just not proud of that anymore.
Jaystation is so interesting to me because like he seems so phony in all his videos. And I do believe we are seeing the real Jaystation. I think if you knew him in real life, this would, like, how he behaves in his videos, like in his apology video and in his more bombastic 3 a.m. videos, I think that is like his mannerisms and his like demeanor. But also, I think he's just a phony person. I think Jaystation hasn't seen the real Jaystation. I think he's not someone that exists in like the quiet of his mind easily. I think that everything is artifice with him, and I think that's what makes him such an interesting character to watch.
Really don't know who I am anymore. And like the title
Why does he keep saying exactly what I just said about himself? This is kind of spooky. Is it 3 a.m., guys?
I just need to stop all social media, and I really just need to take some time to figure out who I am.
The thoughtful pauses he's doing are like a self-parody of thoughtful pauses. This is already a masterpiece. I feel like this is giving the same cadence as when like the Backstreet Boys has to have a spoken word breakdown in their song. So like the music gets soft and they're like, hey girl, I just want you to know I'll always be there for you 'cause you're my one and only. And then there's like music in between. Like that's how fake his pauses feel, how studied his manner.
Before I started YouTube, I just thought I had so much to prove to the world, and like, oh yeah, everybody doubted me that I could become something on YouTube, and guess what? I did it, but at the end of the day, I lost everything that's important to me, and including like, I lost who I was as a person. I just really became, over these last few years, just somebody I'm not proud to say I am. I've developed like stuff about me that it really disgusts me. I don't know how long I'm gonna take a break for, and what I would do for attention, it's just really sick. And for anybody who was upset about what I did, I just want to tell you, I want to tell you straight up, I'm sorry for how I made you feel.
I think what's compelling about this is that there are so many different things it can be for. Like, first of all, I know there were a lot of like behind the scenes allegations of like poor treatment in personal relationships and in business relationships. But then also like the thing the guy was apologizing for earlier of doing like a 3 a.m. ghost encounter with a recently dead real person. Jaystation's done that. He has faked the death of his real girlfriend. Like, he's just done so many tasteless things and gotten heat over it, and clearly never learned any lessons, and also clearly never felt bad. He just knows the motions to go through to pretend to apologize. Like, this literally feels like someone doing a parody of a YouTube apology. Like, there's nothing genuine about it.
Using dead people or people who passed away.
Oh my God. Okay, he's talking about it. This is so spooky. This really is like a 3 a.m. experience. I feel like as soon as I talk about something, he brings it up. What should I try to make him talk about next? Let me think of a random thing and I'll discuss it, and then he'll have to discuss it. What's kind of likely? I want him to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. It doesn't feel like a huge long shot because Sonic.exe is a creepypasta character. So yeah, I'm manifesting this. Come on, Jaystation, come through.
I have so much of an influence because of so many subscribers or people subscribe to me that I have these other smaller channels that are doing the same thing, using dead people for attention. Like, I feel responsible for.
There's so much continuity in this playlist. I'm glad we did this one last.
I just want to let you know, if you're one of those people that are calling this person who just passed away, man, that is insensitive, immature, stupid. Everybody's gonna hate you for that. And just imagine if it was your own mother or somebody close to you that passed away. Would you want somebody doing this, pretending that they're still alive, calling them at 3 a.m.?
It's so obviously wrong that it's like absurd to even have to spell out why it's wrong. But at least he's, I don't know if he's really absorbed it, but at least he's like heard enough people say what's wrong with it that he can recite it back. That's growth, I think.
I really sacrificed everything in order to get where I'm at. Everything. And like, for example, I haven't talked to my dad for 4 years straight. This whole time I was doing YouTube, haven't talked to my dad, haven't talked to my sister.
But there's no way these things are related, right? Like, that's a separate thing. So why is he even bringing it up? Unless his dad was like, I draw the line at going to Five Nights at Freddy's at 3 a.m. scary, not clickbait. You're no longer my son.
Last time I talked to my sister was like close to when I began YouTube. A little after I began YouTube. My mother, barely talked to her. Barely at all.
What?
I just found out she's on chemotherapy.
What?
And I don't even reach out to her to see how she's doing.
What?
I'm just so focused on YouTube views, attention, that I neglect the people that are closest to me. And it's just like, I just, man, I really just lost who I was. And God forbid, like, one of these people that's close to me pass away on my pursuit right now while I ignore them.
These things are so unrelated, and it's such a case of like people being mad at you and you revealing something so unrelated that you look infinitely worse. I don't know. It's like, what if a Twitch streamer got canceled for saying a slur on stream, and then they're filming an apology video and they're like, clearly I need to take a step back, and social media has caused me to get so carried away that I've really lost perspective. And I think I really need to take a break, because ever since I got so into Twitch streaming, I can't stop killing children. And that just goes to show how out of control my relationship with social media is. That, you know, I knew I shouldn't be killing children, but you lose sight of these things when you're Twitch streaming video games so much.
Her grandma passed away, and instead of like supporting her, comforting her, my girlfriend, I said, suck it up. We gotta keep grinding. We gotta keep going. What's more important? Success or your grandma is already gone? Like, how heartless could I get? I got so freaking heartless over the years, and I'm still gonna delete more videos on my channel. There's some videos that I'm really not proud of still. I haven't gone through them all, but so far I've deleted the XXX video, some videos I did with drinking a gay potion. I really don't like that.
Really? Oh my god, he mentioned the gay potion. I've seen that one. He did a video where you can buy a gay potion on the black market, and then you drink it and it makes you start acting like an offensive caricature of a gay person, which I think in his interpretation was just acting like a woman. So that was interesting.
Really don't like that. I don't have any problem with gay people. It's just it could be pretty insensitive. Like, yeah. I did a lot of stereotypical stuff that I'm just not proud of. I started working out. I started posting way less and just trying to focus on becoming better. I deleted all those videos. I reached out to my mom. I told my mom I love her for the first time in like 10 years.
What?
I told my mom I love you in 10 years. I reached out to her and told her that I'm gonna try my best to make it right. So, anyways, love you guys so much. Thank you for rocking with me and understanding this. I'll be back. Not sure when, but I'll be back. Love you guys so much. Peace.
I love that he hit the camera and then didn't cut the clip in time. So he's just awkwardly hitting it and then taking his hand away. This was a special one. I mean, it was nearly 13 minutes long and it was pretty aimless and at times repetitive and boring. I think what really stands out to me is that this appears to be a blanket apology for his entire career and also his entire personal life. I don't think he even mentioned his strategy for changing other than taking a break from YouTube and working out. So hopefully that stuff helps. I love the vague allusions to calling dead people on your phone, drinking a gay potion, and this mysterious element where he admits he hasn't talked to his like entire family in 10 years and claims that that's because of YouTube in some way. Overall, I'm gonna have to give this like an S tier apology. I think my only note for the whole thing is I wish that at the end he had crawled into the sarcophagus. Anyway, that was quite an adventure we went on together, wasn't it? I guess that gave me everything I wanted. I wanted videos where the crime was mysterious. I wanted a broad spectrum of quality. I think I have to reiterate one final time that with apology videos, it's like the movie War Games. The only winning move is not to play. I think an apology video can only make things worse and only draw more attention to what you did wrong. Obviously, if you sincerely, from the bottom of your heart, just want to apologize for something, consequences for doing so be darned, then do an apology video and like really say it from the heart. But if your intent is to salvage your career, which I think is almost universally the point behind these, then don't make an apology video. It's only going to make it worse. There's a 0% chance of making it better. Also, honestly, even if you feel the need to issue an apology, just do it to the people you've wronged, or I think just like a text post on another platform is probably better, or just like be gone for a while and then come back and do a brief apology at the conclusion of your growth moment. I feel like apologizing right after something happened can also ring kind of hollow for that reason, because it's like, you know, you say you're gonna change, but like come back after you've like done the work. I think my favorite phenomenon in like the apology video game is when like multiple channels are fighting each other and then they're all alternating different like attack videos and apology videos from one channel to the other for like weeks at a time. I feel like you only really see that in like makeup YouTube. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this journey down memory lane of YouTuber apologies. This month I've just been working on the Five Nights at Freddy's video. I was hoping to have a preview ready to upload before I uploaded this, and then that didn't happen. So that's disappointing. I mean, unless I take a really long time to edit this and then do that. No, but I should prioritize this, so I don't know. But I was really hoping to have that up before. Also, I recorded this video really late in the month, which is bad, but I had a weird thing happen. I broke out in hives, and I was really scared I was having like an allergic reaction to some medication I was taking, even though there's nothing I'm taking that's like new to me. But it looked just like when I had an allergic reaction to penicillin. So I was like, should I go to the hospital? Like, is this really bad? But I didn't. I waited it out and then just asked my doctor, and we don't know why that happened. Apparently it can just be a stress thing. So that sucked. So anyway, and not stress over making this video. I'm not trying to like guilt trip or anything. But then I was covered in hives and like itching horribly. And then I had to like put slime, like oatmeal slime, on my arms and stuff. I didn't get it on my face, which was nice. I didn't get any hives on my face. So I could have recorded a video, but then I just felt really gross. And also I couldn't have covered my arms because they were covered with oatmeal slime. So I don't know. I felt like a monster, but better now. I just used a lot of oatmeal based products and, waited. But it's weird, right? I guess I just feel guilty that I'm so behind. And it's such a compounding problem because I'll get behind on one Patreon video, and then the next video comes up on me even faster. But then I feel like I've had so little time in between the two to work on real videos. And then I don't know. So what a mess. What a mess. Hopefully I edit this fast. I just wanted to add that if you have like not an auto-renewing membership and you just get it like for 1 month, or sometimes people are given like a year as a gift from someone in their lives, like your subscription is about to end and the video that you're owed isn't out yet, just feel free to just message my profile and say that that's the case, and then I can just DM you a link to the video when it does come out. I've done it before, but I can't remember if I've just actually said to everyone to do it. And also, like, we can see your membership status and like history on the Patreon app, so don't like lie about it. But yeah, obviously I want you to get the videos that you're owed before you leave. Sorry, it's like it's late at night. I'm losing my voice. I'm excited to go to bed. That's everything. Anyway, I'm excited to post the Five Nights at Freddy's video. And I just realized in spirit, my apology video kind of ended with an apology, didn't it? So maybe I should leave it there. Yeah. Gosh. I would have put a sarcophagus behind me if I knew this was going to happen. But anyway, I'm sorry that I don't have that much to show for the FNAF video yet. I thought I'd be farther in it by now. And I'm sorry this one's inevitably going to come out late in the month. So, yep. I guess I'll do this.